All right, what's up, everybody? So, look, man, let's get into it. Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. I don't know if you guys saw the face-off, man, but we got to talk about this shit because, the face-off came out, the video, right, where they're at the round table. And, we got Devin Haney out here. He's been saying, like, oh, I moved up to 147 and I want to fight the best. I truly believe that Brian Norman Jr. is the best and this and that. And this is the kind of fighter that I am. I want to, take on the best opponents and shit. But then at this face-off, what is Devin Haney telling Brian Norman Jr.? He's like, "You're really a bum." I don't know if you guys saw that shit, right? But he told Brian Norman Jr. like, "You're really a bum." I didn't want to say it like that, but you're a bum. And then Norman Jr. tells him like, "So you think champions are bums?" So, you know what I'm saying? The contradiction with Devin Haney is crazy, bro. And it kind of makes me try to get a grasp for his mentality, and what Devin Haney is thinking. And I'm starting to think that Devin Haney and his people, bro, they're looking at Brian Norman Jr. as like a cherry pick, you know what I'm saying? When you hear Devin Haney saying like, "You're really a bum," like, I didn't want to tell you like that, but you're a bum. So what are you doing fighting bums? You know what I'm saying? When you're calling Brian Norman Jr. a bum, you're pretty much taking shots at yourself, bro, because you're fighting this guy. You're the one that chose to fight this guy. Yes, he's the champion, but if you really think that he's a bum, what are you doing, right? You're pretty much cherry picking, ain't it? That's kind of like a cherry pick, bro. And from the mentality of Devin Haney and his team. And I'm here to tell you guys, bro, I think that this is what they're thinking, but this is going to be another cherry pick gone wrong for Devin Haney. Because I'll tell you guys, right? I think Ryan Garcia was actually a cherry pick from Devin Haney and his team when you really stop to think about what was happening when those guys fought, right? Ryan Garcia was going through all these mental issues, you guys got to go back and remember, right? Ryan Garcia was out here fucked up, drunk as fuck on IG, on live, all this shit. And we all know that Ryan Garcia, he's a good fighter, bro. Or he could be a very great fighter, actually. But he's super, super undisciplined. And this is the reason why I think Devin Haney and his people chose Ryan Garcia, because they looked at all of that shit and they were like, you know what, we could take advantage of this guy. Even though Ryan Garcia is Devin Haney's same weight, and this is the first time that I truly believe that Devin Haney actually fought somebody his own size, they looked at all that other shit and they thought that it was going to be a cherry pick, with Ryan Garcia. But that was Devin Haney's first cherry pick gone wrong. As we all saw what happened in that fight where Ryan Garcia completely whooped his ass, bro, knocked him down multiple times that the ref didn't count, a couple of those knockdowns. And realistically, bro, Ryan Garcia should have knocked Devin Haney out cold. The only reason Ryan Garcia didn't knock Devin Haney out cold or actually stop him, finish him off, is because he was in fucking crazy bad shape, bro. And it's crazy as fuck to think that there's people out here that actually think that Ryan Garcia was on PEDs in that fight. You know what I'm saying? When you go back and you see how just out of shape he was, bro, he was gassed during the fight. And that's why, the moments that he had Devin Haney in trouble, he couldn't get him out of there because he was completely gassed and exhausted and shit, right? And yet you guys want to believe that that guy was on PEDs. So, that was Devin Haney's first cherry pick gone wrong, bro. And I think this is another one. You know what I'm saying? Devin Haney and his people, they are truly looking at Brian Norman Jr. as a bum. But I think that this is going to backfire on these guys, right? And let me tell you guys something else, man. I know that we all know that Devin Haney is moving up finally to this weight class, right? So what do you automatically think? Oh, Devin Haney is going to be the smaller fighter. Brian Norman Jr. is going to be the bigger fighter. Scratch that shit, bro. I guarantee you that Devin Haney is the bigger fighter in this fight, man. Regardless to whether he's moving up a weight class or not. Trust me when I tell you that Devin Haney is going to be the bigger fighter in this fight, because this is what Devin Haney has always been about, right? Having this size advantage over all of his opponents. And even though he, this is his first time at 147, I guarantee you that Devin Haney is going to be way bigger than Brian Norman Jr. So he probably look out for that size advantage coming from Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? But even with all of that shit being said, bro, I'm going to be looking to see how much bigger Devin Haney is, because it is kind of hard to pick this fight when we don't know this shit. It's hard to pick in a Devin Haney fight because you don't know how big Devin Haney is gonna come, bro. You don't know how big he is. You know, he's been working with snack, bro. Snack fighters, they have a way of losing a bunch of fucking weight, making weight, and then the next day rehydrating super, super big and still being able to perform and all of this shit. You could call it supplements. Some people are gonna call it other things. You know what I'm saying? There's rumors behind all of this shit. Actually, I'm pretty sure we all know by now that Victor Conte passed away. So what's gonna happen with Snack and all of that shit that they've been doing, who knows? But that'll be something to keep an eye out for. You know what I'm saying? But going back to this fight, it's hard to pick, you know, in a Devin Haney fight because of this shit, right? You don't know how big Devin Haney is actually gonna be, and we gotta see these guys at the weigh-in and all that shit, right? I'm gonna be looking at the weigh-in to make my final prediction for this fight, but as of right now, bro, I'm picking Brian Orman Jr., and I think that he has a very good chance to finally knock out Devin Haney cold, bro. Like, Brian Orman Jr.'s his fighting style, I think it could give Devin Haney problems, bro. And I say that because Brian Orman Jr., he comes to fight, right? He comes to fight. It seems like he doesn't, the way he fights, he just wants to land his punches, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't mind going in there and getting hit a couple of times as long as he's trading off and he's landing a couple of his own punches because he truly believes in his power. And, you know, Devin Haney moving up to this weight class, right? And he's taking on a power puncher. You know what I'm saying? Brian Orman Jr., I've seen his footwork. He has some speedy footwork. And I do think that he'll be successful in cutting off the ring against Devin Haney. Not completely, bro, but in moments. You know what I'm saying? And he has to capitalize on those moments to where he could catch Devin Haney, bro, and in those moments overwhelm him with his fighting style, with those punches and bunches, with that power. And honestly, bro, I think all he's got to do is just land a couple of those power shots on Devin Haney, and Devin Haney's probably going to go into flight mode, bro. And you know, Norman Jr. could possibly even hurt him, bro. And as long as he hurts him, I think he'll be able to put him out, you know. So this should make for a good fight. But like I said, there's just a lot of question marks here, bro. There's a lot of things that we don't know about. I've seen Devin Haney, bro. I've seen Devin Haney in interviews, and Devin Haney looks big as fuck, bro. When you stop and look at this guy's head, like, I don't know, man. You guys know, I don't know if you guys know how to pick up on how people look when they use steroids and shit, right? But their head blows up big as fuck, you know what I'm saying? And this is some shit that I'm seeing from Devin Haney, right? I don't know. I don't want to come out here and make assumptions about this shit, but, you know, Devin Haney, bro, he has this weird fucking size on him, bro, that it just comes out the blue. It just came out of nowhere. And like I said, it looks like he's like, it's unnatural. It's an unnatural skeletal build that Devin Haney has been putting on, bro. I'm keeping it real, bro. Just go and look at his interviews and compare the size of Devin Haney's fucking head to to normal people, bro. And this guy, he just looks crazy, you know what I'm saying? So Devin Haney is looking big as fuck, but I have to size him up next to Brian Orman Jr., you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, bro, I do think that Norman Jr. has a very, very good chance, like I said, of knocking out and stopping Devin Haney. But it's going to be hard, bro. It's going to be hard because Devin Haney, he can fight. You know, he can fight. He can box, bro. He can run. He's got that running boxing style that if he goes into that type of shit, bro, running all night, he could give Brian Orman Jr. problems, right? He could give anybody problems because it's fucking super frustrating having to chase down somebody like that who's going to be running all night and they could just pop shot you all night, bro. And it's very frustrating to take on a fighter like that. So I in no way, shape, or form think that Devin Haney is going to come to fight against Brian Orman Jr., bro. Be prepared to see him running all fucking night against Brian Orman Jr., you know. But Brian Orman Jr., he comes into his fights in great shape, man. And I do think that he's gonna give Devin Haney problems in moments, bro. And he's got to capitalize on that shit, you know what I'm saying? But you know, so yeah, those are just my thoughts on this shit, bro. Like I said, I'm gonna keep an eye out for the weigh-in and all that shit. I want to see these guys, you know, face to face next to each other. You know, there's a lot of fucking rumors going on here, bro. And this is one thing that I'm not liking about Riyadh season, bro, and these fighters fighting in Saudi. Brian Orman Jr., there's already rumors around him talking about that they try to poison him, right? And again, bro, this whole poisoning fighters out there in Saudi, this is not the first time, nor the second time, or the third time that this shit has happened. This just seems to be a fucking reoccurring thing out there in Saudi, and I don't know, bro. I'm not liking that whole vibe over there, man. And I'm pretty sure that if this shit continues to happen, bro, these rumors in the boxing world behind the scenes, they're gonna start spreading, bro, and boxers are gonna be thinking twice about going and fighting out there in Riyadh season. We got David Benavidez versus Anthony Yard, and it just sucks, right, that this is the first time that they're out there and we're getting these type of rumors. So I just think if it, Benavidez or somebody like Benavidez needs to be fucking also extra cautious about what he's eating and the people that he's around. Even somebody like Norman Jr., he already came out here and said some shit like that. And then the thing is that they don't want to talk too much while they're out there, you know what I'm saying? Because who knows what the fuck could happen to them, right? If they start talking while they're out there. Once they get back to the States, I guarantee you're going to hear some more shit about this shit. But while they're out there, bro, they got to be extra cautious about what they're saying, So that's one thing that I'm not liking about Riyadh and Saudi and all that shit, right? These guys are in fucking foreign territory and you never know what the fuck goes down out there, But go ahead and leave me a comment, man. Let me know what you guys think about all this shit. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, man. And that's it for me. I'll be on to the next one, man. I'm out.